Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Takeover Tuesdays. I am so glad to be here. You guys know I get excited on Takeover Tuesdays because I always have a phenomenal guest that's going to be on, and today is no different. Before I bring on that guest, I always like to take this moment to tell you a bit about Takeover Tuesdays if this is your very first time joining our show. So Takeover Tuesdays was started to connect community, expose business owners to the community and vice versa, and just support business owners because many times we don't know they're out there. And if we don't know they're out there, we can't support them, right? So this is a way to bring us all together and have business owners share their story and hopefully at the very least inspire you, and hopefully you also support these business owners along their journey. So without further ado, let me bring on my special guest. And I always say my guests are special, but can I just say I'm going to be a little bit partial today because this guest is in my industry. So I would like to introduce you to Cleo Lewis of Wicker Park Mortgage. Good morning, Cleo.
Good morning, Jessica.
Well, I know how your morning's starting out, but Yeah. Cleo and I, it's an inside thing. So we were chatting before going live and we were saying it's a little bit of a bumpy start, but we're going to make this all work, and we're at Takeover Tuesday, so we're going to have fun.
That's right.
So Cleo, we're just jumping. We always just jump right in. So tell us about yourself, your story. We're anxious to hear about you.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on your show this morning. It is a true honor. But I will just say, again, my name is Cleo Lewis. I own Wicker Park Mortgage. I started this company 7 years ago with my sister, Abijah, my fleshly sister. And, we grew up in a family of 9 kids total. So, all from the same mom and dad. We grew up in Denver, Colorado, an area called Montbello. If you're from a native of Denver, I'm sure you know the area. So it was, we had a great time with all of our siblings, always a party. As you can imagine, it wasn't probably easy for my parents to raise 9 kids, but they did a phenomenal job, very God-fearing people. And, they are my heart, truly. So, that's kind of where I grew up. But I originally went to school, like I said, in Denver. And I'll just tell you a quick story about kind of my background as when I was a child. So I went to Martin Luther King Middle School, and I was in 6th grade. And I remember, it was not the easiest school to go, to be a part of, but, the kids were quite bad. It was a hard learning environment. So I remember one day I get home from school and there was a 2020 special that came on TV that day. And it was ranking the worst schools in America. So my school won number 1 as the worst school in America. They had hidden cameras in our classroom, and they interviewed the teacher. And, it was just it was a pretty rough environment, but, it was my parents, they took me out of school that day. I ended up in homeschool the next day. So that's kind of, my background, but interesting just to kind of, how that led and transitioned into getting a mortgage company, right? So just to tell you a little bit about that, obviously I was in homeschool. I didn't learn a lot about credit or financial literacy, anything like that. So I just randomly fell into the mortgage world. And one of my friends, she actually, during the days of, so many, loan documents that were right. But hey, I need someone to help at my office. Would you mind please coming and making copies for me? So it was a mortgage company, and so I made hundreds of copies. Well, ended up being, I stayed in the mortgage industry. I got into the closing department. I went on to be an underwriter for many years. But, there was always something in me that wanted to, have my own business. And so my sister and I, she was also in mortgage. So we were like, you know what? We tried to make a cupcake company, a jewelry company, whatever. But, ultimately we were like, why don't we do something we know how to do? So we opened a mortgage company. So it was pretty cool. Kind of my background. That's how I got into mortgage.
Yeah, I love that you and your sister are both in the industry. How is that? Have you had trials and tribulations with that, or has it been all fabulous being in the same industry?
Love it. I'm a perfect sister, so we've had so much fun together, and definitely, I mean, mortgage can be trialsome anyway, as you probably know, being a realtor. It's not always the easiest, but we've been doing it for so long. I mean, I've been in mortgage probably for 22 years, I think. So we've definitely had our ups and downs in the industry, but I mean, just working with her has always been fun. Everyone thinks we're like twins, number one. So we can call each other's clients. They don't know the difference, but it's a lot of fun doing it with her for sure. But yeah, mortgages, can be so stressful, but it can be so rewarding at the same time. So it's been really good. It's been really good.
Yeah. So tell us about how you started the business. Like, what went into everything that you had to put together? What did you have to do to put together a mortgage business?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So, because I was an underwriter for many years, I knew, basically how a loan was supposed to be, right? How to get a loan approved and, what kind of customers, just how to make something go, right? The guidelines for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, whatever. But as far as starting the actual company, number one, you have to get licensed. They changed the rules several years ago that everyone now has to get their NMLS license if you are going to be an independently owned mortgage broker. So I had to go to school. That school was about 2 weeks long or so. You have to get your bond, your insurance, errors and omission insurance, your bond, those type of certifications, right? And background check, it's very regulated. They don't just let, you have to be, above board, right? Because you're dealing with very personal information. So they're going to do all of those background checks and make sure that you don't have a criminal background and so forth. So you go through all of those different steps. And then it's just really about, getting set up with, I'm a mortgage broker. So I work with all different lending companies, which is really nice. So I can, do all different types of loans, but you have to go out, you have to get set up with those companies, and it's definitely a process. I think for me, it was a little bit different because I didn't know where I was going to get my business from. And, like I said, I mean, I always had kind of an entrepreneur spirit. I mean, like I said, we opened up like, a jewelry shop at one point, a little like online jewelry store. But it's always a challenge when you open something new to decide, okay, how am I going to get business? You did all your certifications, I was able to pass my test. I mean, I was in mortgage for so long. So it was, relatively, pretty simple for me just because I had the background, but then putting it all into action. I was like, okay, well, I know what it's supposed to look like, but I don't know who's going to be my customers. So at that point, it was just like such a blessing because my parents actually were looking for a property to buy. So I was like, oh, can I practice on you and be your mortgage broker? It was like perfect because I didn't even know how to take an application at that time, So anyway, I did their loan for them. Me and my sister went over to their house, took their application. I felt like I was like playing house or something, right? Like, okay, I think this is what I asked you. So turns out, one of the things that they needed to, because my dad is a veteran and he was looking for a condo that needed to be, VA approved. So basically what that means is if you're a veteran and you purchase a condo, the VA has to say that condo is okay to purchase as a VA loan. So the place that he wanted was not VA approved. But with my underwriting background, I was able to get the whole building, the whole complex approved. The listing agent, we worked so well together. She actually started sending me all of her clients. And so it really came from my parents' loan. I didn't make $1 on it, but it was just like, it literally helped my business so much. That's kind of how I started. And I think it's so huge when you're starting a business is just, give away your service because it's always going to come back to you, and that's how you start building your relationships and your clients and because you have to get started somewhere. And so that's, kind of like the background of how we got started. And from there, it just, you start getting referrals and, doing marketing and so forth. So it really expanded our business. So it's been a big, huge blessing. But thankfully, my parents let me practice on them.
Yeah, exactly. And Cleo, you bring up such a good point about giving away services at first. I want to stress that because we're not talking about, 7 years later giving away services when you've advanced in your craft and you know what you're doing and you're doing it well. But I did the same thing, not in real estate, but in other industries with my other businesses. So I agree. I think that builds relationships, which is what you did essentially. Sounds like, you built those relationships with the next customers and clients that came to you.
Yeah.
And then it just goes from there. Yeah.
I agree with that for sure.
So I know that, of course, you and your sister are in the same business and run the business. What sets you apart other than that? I mean, I think that definitely sets you guys apart. Your sister's, running this mortgage company, but is there something that makes you guys unique from other mortgage companies?
I think that obviously just being, owning your own business, I mean, I think everyone should always try and have the best customer service, So I can't say that we have, better than anyone else's. I will just say that we really try to truly live by that standard because, it's just so important. I mean, when you are purchasing your first home or whether is your 10th home or you're refinancing, it is such a huge for your family, for yourself, for your family's financial future. And so whatever we have to do to, give the best customer service or to, do whatever we can to get that loan to closed, we've, reduced fees or, we've gone and helped our customers move because we didn't have any movers, after closing. And so I feel like it's not just like a customer, it's like our family. And so we're not just there through the process. We try and be there always, One of my customers last night, she's the sweetest older lady. And she called me and she's like, hey, she doesn't have a cell phone. And so she was like, she wanted me to take her. She was like, would you mind taking me to, get my cell phone? Can you set a schedule appointment for me? And, it's like just those things. It's because like you become family, with your customers and, we just do whatever we can to take care of them, period. So I pride myself in that. And then the other thing that I try to do is what I'm so passionate about is just education. Just educating others because, obviously purchasing a home, refinancing a home is probably one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. But I think, unfortunately, in our community, some people may not know about, the different programs or how to fix their credit or, younger people. Like I was saying, I wasn't the best. I grew up, I was bullied. There were so many different things going on in my school. And I feel like I did not have like that, I didn't understand really financial literacy. So when I was 18, I ruined my credit, like the first credit card offer I got, I didn't know anything about it. I just ruined it. But, it's really so, I really think it's so important people and to especially educate younger ones because they really have, their whole lives ahead of them. But with one mistake, you could ruin your credit and that really rolls over into the rest of your life. When you get married, you have kids and so forth. And so I think it's so important even educating younger people. And that is one thing that I'm super passionate about. And, just from my background and my family, my brothers and sisters, I just want everyone to know how important homeownership is. And so I don't know if that's different than other people, but I just think it's so important.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. And me and Chloe talked about this a little bit offline, but definitely just putting this in our school systems. This needs to be definitely, in my opinion, 100% part of the curriculum. Like it shouldn't even be a negotiable. That's how important it is to our financial futures. I believe as well. So definitely. I was telling Chloe, my original trade is a teacher educator. So we will definitely connect offline as far as connecting you with some other prior colleagues that can help you get this information to students, because I think it's critical.
Oh, I love that, Jessica. I think, man, I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, yeah. We have a couple of guests joining us. Good morning, Manushka. She is a favorite fan of mine, always tuning in. Manushka says, what is a common mistake that you see first-time home buyers making? That's a great question, Manushka.
Hi, Manushka. Yeah, that is an awesome question. One of the things I see is that sometimes first-time home buyers don't really understand what is on their credit. So they may not be monitoring their credit. And so when we pull their credit, it is a surprise to them what may be on it. Some may be afraid, and so they haven't, looked at their credit because they don't even want to know what's on it. But I think it is so critical to keep your credit just watched. If you sign up for some type of a credit monitoring service, if you have a credit card, it lets you, like CreditWise, for example. I think Capital One has CreditWise that you can sign up for, and it just lets you know anytime something hits your credit, whether it be, if it's something negative or, your credit card balance goes up a little bit, it'll tell you. And I think it's just so important to monitor your credit and to know what's on there, because if you can get ahead of problems, then it'll be easier to fix them, obviously. So I think that is probably one of the biggest mistakes. And then the other one is just, if you have like tiny little things, like, for example, you may have a little tiny collection for $10. You forget to pay it, you throw it out, you toss it, that could really damage your score. And so just really being on top of those like little medical collections or things like that, really making sure, that you keep those paid, you pay them right away. I think that's the biggest thing for first-time home buyers, is to do that.
Yeah, and I agree. Even for any home buyers, I'm not the mortgage expert you are, but definitely when clients come to me, the first thing I do is connect them with someone such as yourself. And that's what I tell them, just based on my simple knowledge, is that you want to start working on your credit right away before you start that process, if possible. Just helps you get ahead of the game.
Definitely. And then don't go purchasing any big purchases, right? It's crazy that some people think, oh, well, I'm going to just start another job, or, and it's like, no, you have to try and keep your job that you're at. If you're purchasing a home, definitely don't go buy a new car yet. Wait till after you close, things like that. But really just talking to someone, because I say mortgage is almost like learning a different language. You may be a computer engineer, and I would not be able to tell you the first thing about that, or what to do, or what your job is, or anything like that. But, and so I think people sometimes, with, buying a home, it can feel overwhelming, and it's like, oh, it's like learning a different language. But, really just talking to someone, just, giving somebody a call, give me a call, call somebody just to, start the conversation and to say, what do I have to do? Where do I begin? And then another one, I could go on about this all day, Manushka, sorry. But another thing is just to get started. Don't wait, just see where you're at, because you may be ready to buy now and you're waiting because you don't think you're ready. And, that happens all the time. People did have purchased a couple of years ago, but because they're, oh no, I probably can't qualify. See you, because you probably can, and if you can't, we can probably help you qualify within a few months. So.
Yeah, and what I noticed with the mortgage brokers that I typically work with, they usually say the same thing I do, that at least go to a mortgage broker, talk to them, and at least get some insight into what's going on with your finances and your credit. Mm-hmm. That way, at least if you're not there yet, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this, again, you're the expert. If you're not there yet, you could start working on it, but at least you have that knowledge.
Definitely. No, you sound like you are an expert.
No. I'm learning from people like you. I'm doing
it's always a lot to learn, but yeah, I completely agree. Just get started. My favorite saying is to rip off the Band-Aid. Just see where you're at. I mean, my husband and I felt like I'm kind of embarrassed because I've been in the mortgage industry for 20 years, but we purchased our first home 5 years ago. And it's like, I thought, what are we doing? Like I dealt with credit all day long, but I was not taking the steps myself to do what I know that we needed to do as a family. And I'm like, this is crazy. We need to own a home. This is so crazy. But we were scared because we had, credit challenges like I said, I ruined my credit when I was 18. I was scared to even look at my credit. I'm like, this is so crazy. And, it did. It was really bad when I pulled it, honestly. But then I was able to repair it within a few months and we were able to purchase a home. And, so it's just like, don't be scared. Just get started. Sure.
Yeah, I love your candidness and transparency about that, because I don't think enough people talk about that, not only just in the industry, just, everyday people. And, truth be told, a lot of real estate agents, they don't own their own home, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Again, what I've learned, as far as I'm concerned, I don't look at that as a judgment. Like you said, it's a process, and depending on how long you've done it, you have your own things to work on. So I thank you for putting that out there and not being ashamed of it, because the more we talk about it, the more and expose it, like you said, it'll help others, I think, rip off that Band-Aid.
Yeah, definitely. I agree for sure. And then go ahead.
Oh, no, Manushka has another question. I love it. Keep the questions coming, Manushka. She says, how much longer do you think we can hold on to these interest rates? Oh, I get this all the time.
Well, they call me Miss Cleo. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
I did wish I had a crystal ball sometimes, but, I do think they're going to hold for a little while. They have gone up slightly. They were not as low as they were, a few months ago. And I think everyone kind of got surprised by that. But if you put things in perspective, even though the rates have risen a little bit, and I think that they will stay this way for a little bit longer, at least through the rest of the year, in my professional opinion. But I think that they are nowhere near where they were before. We're still in 2s and 3s. A couple of years ago, we were in the 4s, and so really, even if they go up 1/8 of a point or a quarter or something like that, yes, it is a higher payment. However, don't let that stop you if you are going to purchase, or refinance. If you can do it, the quicker the better, obviously. But the rates, I believe, are going to be here in the 2s and 3s, even mid 3s for quite a while, I believe, for sure. With COVID and so forth.
Yeah, that's excellent news for clients. I always tell them you can get a little bit more house, for your buck with these interest rates, because they haven't always been this way. And we all know they aren't going to always be this way. So that is, I believe, the positive for buyers right now.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I know, gosh, we don't have too much time. Oh, gosh, Paulo just joined us. Hi, good morning, Paulo. He says, what's the average rate for 20-year loans?
Hi, Paula. It's a loaded question because it depends on, credit score, how much value you have in your property, whether it's a refinance, a cash out refinance, or purchase, obviously, just for that disclaimer. But really the average rates are in the 2s for 20-year loans. But it is going to depend on those things. But hey, if you like a quote, please contact me and I can give you a personal one for sure. But that is what they're ranging right now.
Thanks. And that's what I was just about to ask, because I know we're short on time, and I definitely want to get all your info in the comments so that everybody has that. Where can folks reach out to you, Cleo, if they want to contact you for some mortgage assistance?
Well, thank you so much. Well, please call me anytime. 720-SAY-HOME. 720-SAY-HOME. Or you can go to my website, wickerparkmortgage.com. Shoot me over and contact email. You can apply on there. It takes 10 minutes to fill out an application online. I'll get right back to you. We have a great team helping us. So yes, please just give me a call. Text me, however.
Awesome. And what's your website? Did I miss that? I'm sorry if I did.
No problem. It's wickerparkmortgage.com.
Okay. We'll get that in the comments so that everybody can refer back to that. I want to ask, as I always do, is there something that we did not go over, or something that we didn't talk about you, even if it's about yourself, that you would like to share for those out there?
What do I like? I just want to say thank you. You're amazing. I think that thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I just love getting to, talk to you and just already just the wealth of knowledge you've shared with me. I look forward to, doing something with the schools with you later. Like we have to get on that for sure. And then I don't know. I just love seeing, women in this business and, I don't know, it's an honor to be on this show. So thank you.
Yes, thank you too, Cleo. I love it. That genuinely, that's what it's all about, and it's so nice that we can support each other and just kind of bounce back and forth everything that we do. There between all of us, we can get the job done, right? Like what I can't do, yeah. So I'm like, between all of us, we can get it done.
No, that is one thing I would like to add. Actually, just whoever is listening, really, we are on your team, and that's what it takes as a team. And just that's why I don't ever feel afraid to call and just see where you're at, because I think even if you may not have best credit, just call us because we want to help. We all help each other. So we all work together. So.
Yes. Well, Cleo, it has been a true pleasure. I can't wait to continue to work with you and see where everything goes with getting this to more students. I'm excited about that. So we're definitely going to make that happen. And in the meantime, those of you out there, I hope you are staying safe and well. My thoughts are always with you if you are going through something. When I first started this show, I always used to say, during COVID, it was challenging times. And however, we're still facing challenging times. There's a lot of ramifications of COVID, as we all know. So definitely, keep yourself safe. I'm sending good vibes and thoughts for everybody because, we're still going through a lot of transitions, and I'm sure we will continue to. But the good news is I love that we still have business owners out there and they're still working and growing and thriving. So that's what this is all about, is just supporting each other so we can continue that.
Definitely.
Yes. All right. Well, until next time, this is Takeover Tuesdays. I'm Jessica Springs. This was Cleo Lewis with Wicker Park. Oh, and she is changing over to Central. I got to mention that. Can you go ahead and tell them about that before we go?
Yes. So we are doing a rebranding. Wicker Park Mortgage. It will be changed to Central Park Mortgage as the new name. We are located in Stapleton, Central Park area. So if you see Wicker Park or Central Park, it's all us. So give us a call.
Yes, I love it. All right. Until next time, stay inspired.
Thank you. Bye.